Iron Man, or Tony Stark's armor, the thing that changed Tony Stark's life forever. But what if this armor is alive and became sentient? What will happen to Stark? Will he enter his armor, or will he try and destroy it? And is the armor going to love his creator and pilot, or is it going to hate him? Well, to answer that, we have to ask ourselves first. Should I read Masking the Iron Man? Okay, first of all, let's get some context here, and remember, there are no spoilers on this part of the video. Tony is really bad at human relationships, his suit is his life, and everyone knows that Tony Stark loves Iron Man, and that maybe sometimes he would rather be on his suit flying around the world than being on a human conversation. Which is the reason why we start with Stark on his balcony thinking about the girl he met a few issues ago. Stark went to a tech convention to show his new skin nanotechnology. Later, he's on a club with this girl we previously mentioned, and an incident between these two makes a living nightmare out of Stark's life. Spoiler alert, this is when it gets just a little bit spoilery. I'm waiting for you to go forward, and there we go. Rumiko, the girl we previously mentioned, told Stark that she loves him, and Stark just bailed and went straight to his armor. Later, while he's flying over Miami, Whiplash appears and fights Stark for a while, until a line separates them, but Stark is too damaged to even try to stop his free fall, and just before he hits the ground, a weird voice asks for help, but he didn't know whose voice that was, so after he falls, he wakes up on the hospital with his friends, but his worst nightmare has become a reality. The newspaper has revealed his identity after his fight with Whiplash, and Rumiko left him because he kept it a secret from her. Okay, the spoilers are over. Did you came back? Did you... There you are. Now that Stark's nightmare is a reality, what is he going to do? Is he going to lie and fight his way out of this? Or is he going to try and make his nightmare a living dream even though he's almost defenseless against any threat? Well, if you wanna know, you will have to read it. Now the analysis. But first remember, every score is measured by Iron Man comics, not every comic. Level of fun. Fun being the cockiness from Stark on his fights. Stark's way of making everything look fun or at least be something fun to do. And especially the charisma that always makes, at least me, laugh, it gets a 3. But wait, as always, having a low fun score is not something bad because this comic gets inside of the skin of Tony Stark. It is a much serious and sentimental comic for Tony. It kind of makes you understand how Tony thinks and what happens to him on a sentimental level. So, the fun is just on the beginning of the story and a little bit throughout the rest. Level of action. Action being the escapes that Stark always manages to surprisingly make. The fights full of impulsive but well thought strategies, and those unexpected suit changes, and Iron Man's artificial intelligence backup, it gets a 6. Because the comic has more talking and thinking than punches, and most of the time the characters are just arguing with each other. But every time we see a fight, it is just amazing, with a lot of Tony Stark's personality on them, even though he's struggling with himself almost the entire story. Level of story 7. Because the story starts a little lame, like there are many predictable things at the beginning, but after a few twists, the story really gets inside Stark's skin, and the twists are much more often as the story advances. You really don't know what to expect at the end, and I feel like every fight was included perfectly, and not just that, but Stark's past has a really big role in this story, which makes you understand way more about the changes that Stark have had throughout his life. Okay, there is not much more I can say without spoiling it, so should you read Masking the Iron Man? It is up to you now, but I say yes, you should! To get more, should I read? Click on the left, and to get some awesome motion comic songs, click on the right. And remember to share, like and subscribe to get more. But first, who is next?